Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us as we discuss some of our favorite books that you can request at your library. A part of our job as children's librarians is giving recommendations when asked by our users. During these difficult times, parents and children can't physically browse our shelves to find new and interesting titles, but they can request online and pick up at your branches for curbside service. The purpose of this program is to give some great reading recommendations for parents that are available for checkout at our branches. Today we'll be discussing scary or Halloween children's books, since you've got to request them now in order to get them at your branch. As we know, I'm trying to request some books for Halloween already for story time, and it's like, will they come in a time? So I'm going to do a little, before we do some trivia, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Annika, can you go ahead and start?
Sure. So I am the outreach librarian for Fresno County Public Library, focused on youth and kids.
All right. And Ashlee?
I am one of the children's librarians. I'm with the Cotton Fields, and that covers most of the west side. So a lot of the west side rural branches, and then I'm at Fig Garden.
Okay, Fig Garden. I'm sort of the North Fresno area. I'm at Woodward Park mainly, and then also Pleady and Pinedale branches. So I have 3 branches. All right, our trivia question today is, what is the 2009 Newbery Medal winning book that takes mostly place in a graveyard? And that's a big hint right there.
The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and share the title of that one right there. We have Neil Gaiman's The Graveyard Book, one of my favorite titles.
I like the graphic novel version of that.
Oh, yeah. It is a bit scarier, I noticed, because some things he can just apply in the book is the violence is a little more in your face. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. And if you've ever book on CD, one of the best books on CD is Neil Gaiman's works, because he'll read himself. Coraline and The Graveyard Book, I believe he both does. And he is a fantastic reader.
I could listen to him talk like all day.
Yeah, he has that wonderful British voice. Yeah. So let's go ahead and go into our recommendations. I'll let Annika go ahead and start.
Okay. So I have a few here.
All right.
These are kind of classics that I come back to. The first one is the Hallo-Wiener. This is by Dav Pilkey. So he's very good at humorous stories and fun illustrations. And this is about a little wiener dog, obviously. Yeah, he gets made fun of because of his unusual size and shape at the beginning of the book, but it ends up being a positive thing by the end of the book. Yeah. And it just has fun illustrations. It's not actually scary, so it's good for younger kids. It's funny. Yeah, it's a good one.
If you're a fan of Dogman, or your kids are, usually parents aren't, but if you're a fan of Dogman and Captain Underpants and Catzilla and stuff, this is an early Dav Pilkey work before he was very well known.
Yeah, so that's a good one. Then I also grabbed Room on the Broom. This is by Julia Donaldson, illustrated by Axel Scheffler. And this is a good one. My nieces really liked this when they were in like kindergarten, first grade. It's about a witch traveling on a broom, and she loses, things fly off as she's flying, and then she has to go down and get them, and she collects more companions on her journey. But there's a lot of repetition in it, because each time she loses something, she kind of repeats the same phrase, and there's a pattern. So it's also a rhyming book. So it's a fun one. Also good for young kids because it's not actually scary, but has those good Halloween vibes.
It's good that it's a rhyming book. I mean, that's the hard part of holiday books is it's hard to find one that's good read aloud. Sometimes with holiday books, I always struggle trying to keep with the holiday because they don't really work as read aloud books, unfortunately.
I feel that Donaldson just like overall is the queen of like rhyming picture books.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's fun also because once you kind of learn the pattern, like the kids can say, "Oh no," like along with you as you're reading it.
Awesome.
So that's a good one. And then I also, while I was looking for books, found this one, which I remembered scared me as a child.
Yeah.
But it's Lone Popo by Ed Young, and it's a Red Riding Hood story from China. And it was actually a Caldecott winner, I think in like 1990.
Yeah.
But it has these kind of eerie, like surreal illustrations, which give it a really spooky vibe. So that would be a good one for Halloween too.
And that one I believe is in the fairy tale section, I believe, if someone was looking for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right. Miss Ashlee, you want to go?
Sure. So I have both of mine rhyme.
Yeah.
I have Pick a Pumpkin by Patricia Tote, and it's illustrated by Jarvis. They did a couple years ago, they did Pick a Pine Tree, which is like a Christmas one, also very cute. But this one, it rhymes and it's cute. It's not like super spooky or anything, but it's just about going to a pumpkin patch and getting your pumpkin and all the other kind of things that go with Halloween. There's costumes and going trick-or-treating. So it's fun and it's really cute. And I really liked it. And then I also I love this one so much.
Yeah.
It's called Mother Ghost. And
she's riding a bat, it looks like.
Yeah, it's by Rachel Kolar and illustrated by Ronald Garrigue. And it's a French name, so we're gonna forgive me. But it's called Nursery Rhymes for Little Monsters. And what they do in here, so they take and they rewrite the Mother Goose rhymes in a Halloween style.
Yeah.
And so it's really cute and really fast. So I take it like just during our story time, and I just read one during story time, like in between when we're doing rhymes. And then last year, I actually like challenged the kids to memorize one of them, and they did. And a lot of them did. I gave them like the month to do it. And so I love this. I give this to people all the time. It's really fun. So those are my picture books, and then I have some chapter books. The first one I have is by Katherine Arden, Small Spaces. And it looks creepy, and there's a school bus. So already it's actually really creepy. So this is for middle graders, like people who can handle actual creepiness, because I was creeped out reading this, which is good. That's a good thing. And it's about kids who go on it's about a girl who's grieving the loss of her mother, and she goes on a field trip with the rest of her class to this farm, and stuff happens. It's very creepy. And there's the sequel that just came out this year called something about voices. I can't remember. And then I also have Ghost Squad by Clarabelle A. Ortega. And this just came out this year, and I'm actually reading this one right now. And so this author pulls a lot from Dominican traditions when she's writing. Cool. And so this has a lot of like Dominican kind of elements in the spookiness of it. And it just started getting spooky. I'm not very far into it, but the premise, like it says that it's like a blend of Coco and Ghostbusters. So,
okay. Interesting.
I'm enjoying it so far.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, my middle book one was Graveyard book, so I already mentioned that one. So I brought two titles, one from my childhood. And I hate to admit it, this one's kind of, when I tried to read it at story time, the kids weren't having it. But what I love about it, it's a scary story. There's a Nightmare in My Closet, written and illustrated by Mercer, the guy who does the Little Critter books. What I love about it is it's one of those books that start, and my other book is this way too. It starts out like, oh no, this is going to be super scary, but then acknowledges, hey, there's nothing to be scared about. It's okay. It's not as scary as you think it is. There's a nightmare in my closet about a little boy who suspects that there's some scary monster hiding in his closet, and he has to defend himself. So it's Mercer Mayer has fantastic. I love his illustrations, and just what really well written. At the same time, I would say 4 to 8 age group, just because the monster is a little bit scary, and the way this story goes, that 0 to 3 might be too young for it.
I remember reading that when I was little.
Yeah, and maybe it's the way I read it. Oh, I'm sorry, Annika, can you repeat that?
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, that's a familiar book to me as well.
I think that's our generation's scary picture book. And this one's a little more recent. This is a sequel, Love Monster and Scary Something. It's a part of a 4 or 5 book series right now. No, I think it's just 4. And the original one is a Valentine's book, Love Monster, and Love Monster lives in Cutesville. He's this monster, and he's looking for a friend, but everybody else is just like cute little bunnies and other cute critters. So it's a great story about this monster who lives in a place where he doesn't quite belong. But in this one, he's getting ready for bed at night, and he starts hearing things and something in the yard, and he just keeps worrying that it might be something really bad. Of course, this is Cutesville, and how bad can it be? And I'm going to mention one other. I grabbed a whole bunch, and this is a great story time. Love Monster, Scaries. I would say that's 3 to 7 age. I love Sandra Boyanton. Am I saying that right? Boyant? Oh, yes. Eek Halloween. Yes. I love it. If you've never read her, it's great for, I would say, 0 to 4. And if you like song style, like sing-along books, a lot of her books have the rhyming sing-along feel to it. And this one is very sing-along feel to it. And I think this is one of her best. And I try to read this every story time, Halloween story time. And do anybody else have any others?
I see Are You My Monster behind you?
Oh, yes.
And I've got a nephew that likes to read, but he love to read. He has like a shorter attention span, and I pulled that out and like I read it to him, and then we spent like an hour of him saying, my monster has purple skin and black hair, and then you'd have to go find him, and then I would say, my monster, we had the board book version.
Yeah.
Like the board book version kept him entertained for hours. So
I love that book because it's a version of the other 2 I mentioned, where it's like, oh my gosh, I think there's something scary, but it's not scary. Whereas in I Need My Monster, it's like the kid is scared because his monster isn't there, and there's all these other monsters who are trying to substitute, and he's like, no, you're not scary. No, you don't do it for me. Sorry. And then one other, Jan Thomas. I think we mentioned an author before, The Doghouse. I love to read this during story time. Jan Thomas has the Giggle Gang, various critters. And this is a play on almost like the Agatha Christie, Then There Was None. A ball, the ball they're playing with rolls into the doghouse, and each member of the group, there's like a cow, a pig, a duck, a mouse. They each start, they're like, oh, cow, you're big and strong. You go get the ball. And the cow's like, woo, 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 woo. And then each critter goes in there, and it's kind of funny ending. So, all right. Do you guys have any programs coming up?
Just story time. Tuesday.
Story times?
Friday.
And what days do you do your story time?
I'm on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30.
All right. And I do a Friday 10:30 preschool. Annika, what are you up to?
Well, if you'd like to request a librarian to drop into your classroom or your child's classroom, you can request that through our website, through the Ask a Librarian page.
All right, wonderful. Thanks, guys. Thank you for watching. Though our library buildings are closed, we're offering curbside services at our branches. Check out our website for curbside hours for your branch. Just go to www.fresnolibrary.org. Make sure to like us on our Facebook page, and please share with your friends. Have a good day. Bye.